What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you.
Yeah!
Throwdown Nation, we are live. It is a Sunday. We are rolling on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter/X, Facebook, and Twitch. It is episode 189 of the Throwdown, where we celebrate the art and sport of professional wrestling with a strong focus on the indies. I'm your host, Matt, and today is going to be fun. As those of you who have been around on the journey for a while know, I got started with live streaming, doing conversations with unsigned bands. Music and wrestling are two huge passions for me, and the occasions where I get to have a conversation with somebody who kind of walks in both worlds is a blast. And today is such an occasion. Today, I am joined by my friend Lewis from the UK. He is the front man for a WWE tribute band called SuperSlam. Their set list is composed mostly of WWE walkout themes. So, Lewis, welcome aboard.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. Very quick one. It's Louis, not Lewis. French spelling. Don't know why.
Okay.
I have no French blood in the family. But anyways, yes. So
Louis, okay.
Louis, yeah. I am
Okay.
the lead singer of SuperSlam. We are the UK's first WWE tribute band. So we are playing walkout themes. We've got some of the event themes as well, and a couple of the TV show themes as well. There is a massive mixed bag of so many different styles of music that, like, great songs that are out there, which we've pieced together into a set list, which we are very excited to play live for everyone.
Absolutely. And for those of you watching live, let me direct your attention to the ticker that's running on the bottom of the screen. That contains all, or at least most, of SuperSlam's social media accounts, along with mine. So definitely do us a favor. If you aren't a follower or subscriber, take the time and go to each of the platforms and do so. It definitely helps all of us. So we'll go ahead. I'm sorry for butchering your name, Louis, but
It's all good.
We'll go ahead and get started with the first and the most obvious question, and that is, first off, how long have you been a wrestling fan?
You know what? This is a really interesting question. So there's two parts to this.
Okay.
I have been a fan of specifically wrestling music for close to 20 years. So I first discovered that WWF was a thing off of I can't remember the name now, the purple CD, which has got the themes on it. And I picked that up because it had the Disturbed version of Glass Shatters. And at that point, I was a big Disturbed fan. And I just love that CD. There's so many songs on there that are just bangers, right? And somehow from there, I didn't get onto watching any wrestling at that point. I watched a little bit with some friends. I played a couple of video games, I think it's a couple of the WWE games, make your character. It was fun. It was good fun, but I wasn't really a big fan. I wasn't following everything until a couple of years ago. So I seem a bit old to be discovering wrestling for the first time, but I got into wrestling a couple of years ago when I started to think, damn, these themes are great. I'd love to, play some of these things. Where do they come from? I'm thinking, where are they actually? I want to see them in action. So I started watching a couple of events, and I started with the highly recommended WrestleMania 17 is always at the top of everyone's list. And I was like, damn, this is great. This is really exciting. I have a real passion for sort of early 2000s, late 90s kind of music and media and fashion, and that kind of stuff is really interesting to me. So I discovered this, and it was like a gold mine of awesome music and action and sport and storylines, and I have been hooked. So since this Netflix deal came along as well, it's just opened up everything to just be there to watch so much. So much stuff. Yeah, I've just been immersing myself. It's fantastic.
Absolutely. And I'm right there with you on Disturbed. David Draymond is amazing.
Yeah, he has a fantastic voice.
I'm a huge fan. So I was noticing over in the Instagram chat, WrestleMosh UK says forcible entry. I'm not sure what that means.
That is the name of the CD. That is the one. WWF Forcible Entry. That's the one.
Gotcha.
Excellent stuff. Yeah, love it.
Awesome. So, what was the first live wrestling show you went to?
So I went with a friend to the Eve show in London, like female wrestling show. And that was my first wrestling event. And I kind of didn't really know what to expect. Like, I've kind of seen clips online and all this kind of stuff. Doesn't really do it justice, because there is, when you see it in person, there's so much more kind of like the physicality and the strength and kind of the gymnastics isn't the right word, but the technicality of it is very impressive, you know. So I kind of walked away from that and I was like, wow, that's crazy. How do people do that, you know? And then work it into a storyline. They're kind of keeping, you know, the show going step after step after step, whatever's happening. They don't speak, everyone's watching. I was amazed. I was blown away by that. Yeah. So that's part of me getting hooked. That was.
Gotcha. Well, I know, you know, over in the UK, the indie wrestling scene over there is just amazing. Do you follow the UK scene pretty closely?
So I actually I'm pretty fresh. There's not so much stuff that I am familiar with. That said, I am very open to it. And if anyone's got any suggestions, wants to comment or let me know, send us a message, I would absolutely love to, because like I say, it's just like I'm opening up this Pandora's box of things that I didn't know existed, and I'm just rather excited, you know.
Absolutely. Well, you know, I've had a few folks from the UK on the show previously, and after this is over, I'll actually connect you to a few of them. I think you would enjoy some conversation with some of these guys.
That would be wicked.
So on the I guess on the other side of things, how long have you been involved in music? And aside from vocals, do you play any instruments yourself?
So again, this is a bit of an interesting one. My journey into music begins when I was a kid, actually with classical music. So I play the flute, play the piano, and I started doing that when I was 7. So I started learning that, and as I got into this kind of style of music, as I got older, then I learned to sing and I learned to do extreme vocals and whatever else. And I was like, right, let's be in a band. And I've been playing in bands since I was 14 up until now with originals music, and also now with this sort of tribute band idea is another piece of that.
Right. So, you know, it's interesting. I was asking that because, you know, I grew up playing guitar. I've played guitar off and on pretty much the majority of my life. And what's interesting is about 6 years ago, my son took up guitar, and at that point, he absconded with all of my guitar gear. So that Christmas, he and my wife surprised me with a bass. And I had never touched a bass, let alone tried to play one. And I started noodling around on it, and I discovered that all these years I'd been a bass player and just didn't know it.
Bass player in disguise.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, I absolutely love, I'm looking over at my baby right now. I've got a 5-string Ibanez bass that I just absolutely adore.
Very nice.
That bass just plays so nice. and you know, it's just been a lot of fun, and you know, so like I said, you know, music and wrestling are definitely my things, and something that I've found, you know, is there is a lot of overlap between music fans and wrestling fans, especially with some of the genres of music like metal and such. That there's a lot of overlap between metalheads and wrestling fans.
100%. I really agree with that. I mean, I am one of those people, you know, I've come through the music into the
Right.
wrestling. I think there are plenty of people who have come through the wrestling into the music as well. Definitely, I'm a fan of the late 90s through to like mid 2000s stuff where they've really got like the Kill Switch Engage themes and Saliva and Limp Bizkit and all of these bands. It's great stuff.
Gotcha. Well, over in the Instagram chat, Gary John Sr., who is a filmmaker, is actually saying SuperSlam should do a song for the film we're making.
Oh,
So
I'm up for it.
I can put you in touch with him afterward.
Absolutely. We've got some stuff in the back pocket, I think, which is kind of like we're inspired by that new metal kind of stuff, and we've definitely got some songs. So yeah, shoot us a message, please do.
Very good. Very good. So, how did you come to the idea of SuperSlam? How did you come to this idea of doing a WWE tribute band? Was it actually your concept or someone else's, and you were asked to join? How did it come about?
So I came up with this idea for SuperSlam, and there's inspirations, and there were a couple of iterations it went through. So, firstly, I have played in originals bands before, you know, and it can be difficult getting people to want to come to the shows, to come and support you. We have had, in my time, I had loads and loads of amazing people come to see and support bands I've been in, but it can be tough. And I've seen tribute bands like there's the Tony Hawk Pro Skater band in the UK called the 900, and also I've got some really good friends in the Ogre Tones Shrek tribute band who are doing fantastic at the moment. And I thought, wow, that looks great. I would love to be playing these big shows to people who want to sing the words to the songs back to me. You know, that would be what an experience, right? So with some friends, some musical friends, we thought, let's do a tribute band. What are we going to do? And the first thought that actually came up was a Creed tribute band, because we're big Creed fans, and Creeds are on a big comeback at the moment. So we kind of found out, and we had a couple of rehearsals and stuff, and then I just looked into the popularity of the band, particularly in the UK, and I wasn't sure if there was enough there for enough people to want to come to the shows. Do you know what I mean? I think if we did it, there would be a very hardcore but small audience there. Do you know what I mean? If I went to see a Creed tribute band, I would love it, but I'm not sure how many people there are. Verdict's out. Someone may prove me wrong. Someone might come along with their Creed tribute band and blow it out the water. But we went from that, and then we went, where do we go from there? Well, we could do a general kind of 2000s rock songs tribute band, which has been, you know, just pick and mix your favorite songs. That sort of thing's been done before. What could we do that is a really unique kind of thing that people will want to come and see? And the song Creed, the Creed My Sacrifice, was used in some of those WWF promos. There was a short like promo that was repeated through some of the events that used that song. And I was like, oh, crossover, light comes on. What about a WWE tribute band? I love some of these songs, you know, the Kill Switch Engage, this Fireburn CM Punk theme is fantastic. You know, Triple H the Game is iconic. Wow, I can, you know, play all these I can sing all these songs. I know people who can play these songs. You know, we can play these songs. Why do we not give it a go? So we got together in a room and we played about 30 minutes of some really popular themes like Voices and John Cena, The Time Is Now. And we're like, yes, this works. Let's do it. And the idea is stuck. We've put together a set and we've got our first gig lined up for the 28th of Feb. So it's happening. Let's see how it goes.
That's awesome. Well, UK Paul over on Twitch, I just threw it up on the screen. Had a couple of suggestions for you for the indie scene in the UK. A couple of places to check out.
Okay, so I live a little north of London, so Progress Wrestling in London. I think I might have to head on down and see what's going on.
Absolutely, and my brother from another mother, Chris Page from CCP Podcasting, just showed up in the Instagram chat, and he says hello.
Hello.
He's a good dude. He's somebody we might want to try to get you on his show as well.
I would love to do that. Yeah, please send me a message. Send us a message.
So, is SuperSlam limiting? Are you guys limiting yourselves to strictly WWE themes, or would you be open to also doing themes for folks in AEW, TNA, some of the other companies as well?
So this is something we considered. There are a couple of bands out there that are already doing like general wrestling themes, which is cool. There are also some fantastic themes out there outside of WWE. However, what I sort of saw was like I wanted to come along with the costumes, with the characters, you know, and kind of try and bring them to life, which I think if we expanded outwards, that wouldn't be quite so strong or hit as hard. Do you know what I mean? It's all within that one
Right.
sort of self-contained. So obviously I'm John Cena, as you can see, or not see.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we've got The Undertaker on keys and rhythm guitar. We've got Cody Rhodes on lead guitar. We've got Rhea Ripley on the bass and Io Sky behind the drum kit. So it kind of it's got a little bit of fun to it as well. And I think from my time watching wrestling, there's a combination of brilliant storylines, but also just a bit of fun and sometimes a bit of goofiness that comes along with it, which I think gives it its character. And I think we can bring that to the stage as well. So that's the logic behind that decision.
Very cool. Very cool. So, whose theme do you feel like you guys have done the best job of capturing so far?
So, I would say Rey Mysterio, Booyaka 619, POD. The energy on that song is fantastic, particularly in the chorus. It's so good and it's so fun. And that's one that we just played through and it just worked. I've been working on my Spanish. My Spanish GCSE has finally become useful in learning the words to that song and knowing how it goes. I mean, other ones that have really gone well. Kingdom, Cody Rhodes always plays through really nicely. Big fan of that song. I'd never heard it before I started watching some stuff with him in, like, because obviously the CD and the stuff that I've consumed before has been a bit earlier in time. That's a more modern song, so that was a great one to find. And also Limp Bizkit Rollin' Undertaker theme for American Badass. That's really, really good fun as well. But I would say everything in the set, we've been working behind the scenes, polishing up, and I think it all goes off rather nicely. I think it's going to be an excellent show once it comes together, if I say so myself.
Absolutely. So, you know, like I said, I've had occasions where I've had guests on the show that, you know, like I said, basically walk in both worlds, and one of which I don't know how much exposure they've had in the UK, but are you familiar at all with a band called Set It Off?
I am not.
Well, they are actually becoming fairly prominent here in the U.S. This past year, they played at a lot of the big festivals and such, and their drummer is actually an indie wrestler.
Love that.
He is actually currently the heavyweight champion for the House of Champions promotion in Orlando, Florida. And I've actually had him on the show. And you know, like I said, I love the occasions where I can talk shop in both music and wrestling with somebody. So, you know, but Max Danziger is the guy's name, and just an amazing guest. And like I said, you know, having somebody who has their hand in both worlds is just really cool. So, you know, away from all of this, what are some of your hobbies and interests aside from music and wrestling?
What do I get up to? In the daytime, I'm a music teacher. I do some of that, and I do some social media stuff. That's part of my job. What do I do in my free time? I've got 2 little dogs. Like to hang out with them. Yeah, I guess. To be honest, I spend a lot of my time doing doing music and watching wrestling. Is what that question has told me. Yeah, me and my wife watching that stuff. That's, you know, hanging out, listening to music. Good stuff.
Yeah. What kind of dogs do you have?
We have a small little black terrier called Rosie, and then an even smaller little white-furred mongrel thing called Thistle. They're small, but they're mighty.
Nice. Yeah, we have actually 3 Chihuahua mixes. They're all shelter rescues, and they are all loaded with personality, and you know, just a lot of fun.
Yeah, they have to be. Yeah, you love them. They always are.
For sure. So, you know, we're mostly a wrestling show, but you know, we do dabble a little bit into pop culture, and I'm always looking for recommendations. So by any chance, are you watching or listening to anything cool right now?
We have been watching the UK TV show The Traitors, which has been on a lots of psychological thoughts. This is the game show where they're all in a house together, and 3 of them are the traitors and the rest of them aren't, and then they've got to figure out who's who. I think they've done a US version now, so that one's probably worth checking out if you like that stuff.
Okay. Very cool. So, what would you say is your favorite genre of music? I mean, you mentioned metal, but would you say that's your favorite genre? Or,
yeah, I think so. I definitely grew up with that kind of stuff. I got into it around the age of sort of 10, 11, something like that, and kind of stuck with it. I definitely like some kind of hip hop stuff as well, and a little bit of just classical music from the other side of kind of my musical side. That's something that I maybe don't listen to so much, but I really enjoy playing it. So I don't know if anyone wants me to bust out a flute at some point, but the possibilities on the table, that could happen for sure.
Absolutely. You know, it worked at times for Jethro Tull.
Yeah.
So,
you know. Give it a go, right?
Yeah. So, what was your first live music show as a fan?
As a fan? Oh, this is very interesting.
What was your first concert?
There's 2, and I can't remember which one came first. So somewhere around 13, 14, something like that, I went with my dad to see Muse. They were playing in Manchester, and we went up to see them, and that was an awesome show. I can't say that I knew too many of their songs, but the ones that I did know, it was like a big arena show, and that was great. On the other end of the scale, I went to see a band called Second Rate Angels, and they don't play anymore, but fantastic band from sort of Hertfordshire, London, UK. And I went to see them play at the Underworld. in Camden, and that was my first kind of like underground gig. You know, it was literally underground. I think maybe like the actual floor area is probably like 150 people, and there's like a balcony round which was probably another couple hundred or something, and it's like crammed in and sweaty and just energy, you know. And that was a fantastic experience. And since then I go to small gigs, I go to big gigs, I go to you know, whatever whatever is kind of vibing at the time.
Gotcha. Well, I'm an older guy. I'm 56. And the first concert I ever went to, I was 12 years old, a kid in Florida, and went to see a band that's they actually just kind of called it a career last year, but a band called REO Speedwagon.
I've heard the name for sure.
Yeah, and they I had the privilege at the time of kind of seeing the classic lineup. They had a guitarist at the time by the name of Gary Richrath, and I've always felt like he was probably one of the most underrated guitar players in the history of rock. I just feel like the guy never really got his flowers as far as what he could do. And you know, unfortunately, he passed away several years ago. He had left the band, you know, kind of acrimoniously, and really after Gary departed, they almost kind of became a tribute band of themselves. They were never quite the same, but anyway. So you know, that was my first concert. But so in terms of you musically and vocally, who would you say are some of your influences? I mean, obviously everybody's kind of trying to do their own thing, but you know, either consciously or subconsciously, you're influenced by certain things. Who would you say are some of your influences vocally?
So for me, there's definitely kind of two sides to it. I think that I like a lot of the hard grungy kind of stuff, grunge singers, and then also like sort of screamy metalcore kind of stuff. And I guess I fall somewhere in the middle. So I definitely like Howard Jones from Killswitch Engage. Has a fantastic voice and is very, very distinctive. He came out as a guest at Bloodstock Festival. I was there once, and I think it was Hatebreed were playing, and he came out as a guest on one song, and I was a bit further away across the arena, and I went, "Wait, hang on, is that Howard Jones from Killswitch Engage?" And I could tell from all the way over there. So I absolutely love his voice. Some of the early In Flames stuff I really like. Anders from In Flames, his screams are quite distinctive as well. And then I also learned to sing on stuff like Creed and Puddle of Mud, and I suppose like Nirvana to an extent as well, that kind of stuff. So I guess I learned to sing sounding like I was out from the US. You know, I put on an accent when I started learning to sing, so I thought, well, that's how you sing. I guess I've developed my own voice a bit more since then. But yeah, those are kind of my two sides of influence with singing for sure.
Gotcha. So what person inspires you the most and why?
That's a very interesting question. And a very difficult one to answer. I think I'm inspired in different ways by different people, if you see what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could say like I'm musically inspired by certain artists and the way they go about doing things in day-to-day life. You know, there's so many people, you know, like my dad and my wife and people around me that are just positive, and you know, they're the people that inspire me. Just day-to-day things and positive, good energy. That's what I'd say.
Gotcha. Well, my wife actually just logged in on Instagram, and she loves these kind of stories. So, how did you and your wife meet?
We originally went to school together, and then we didn't speak for a couple of years, and then I was out drinking with some friends, and I built up some Dutch courage to send her a message and see what she was doing.
Oh,
And from there, yeah, we met up, and she came along. Actually, I invited her along to a show that we were playing, and she came along, and then from there, it kind of went from there. So we were obviously doing something right, playing the show because she enjoyed it. But yeah, that was, we went to school together, reconnected when she was 20 and I was 19, and then I'm 28 and she's 29 now, and we're together. So yeah, that's how that went.
nice. So, what would you say is your favorite thing about the UK?
The UK. It's an interesting question. You get the classic fish and chips over here. That's always a good one. And recently over Christmas, we went up to Scotland, which is very beautiful. And I've been up a couple of times before, and into the Highlands. And there's a lot of natural beauty, that kind of stuff. Also in Wales. I can't say I've been to Ireland personally, but and also in the Lake District in the UK as well. Just lots of natural beauty there, which I think is fantastic. Good for the soul.
Oh, for sure. So, back to the wrestling fan side of things. Do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan?
Okay, so I can definitely say a match that I watched and I was just blown away was I watched that WrestleMania X17 and I saw the TLC match. And that was just crazy. That was fantastic. And I think there's maybe been like shows or matches I've watched since then where I think this is up to the same standard, but that was the first one I saw that was just popped, and I was like, oh my god, like how are these guys still alive? And that I put that at the top of my ranking, at least for now. As I actually tell you what, I'll put a close second was I was very excited watching the second night of the WrestleMania 40, the Cody Rhodes, like just concluding the storyline of that. There was a lot going on towards the end of that I was not expecting, and that also had me very excited. And also the previous night of that with the Rock showing up was fun for me as well. But yeah, I would say TLC WrestleMania 2001.
Gotcha. Well, sort of launching off of that question, and speaking of Scotland, what did you think about what transpired on SmackDown the other night with Drew McIntyre becoming the dethroning Cody Rhodes and becoming the new undisputed champion?
So everything I have seen from Drew McIntyre has been really good, and I love him on social media, and I think he very much deserves it. I think Cody's held it for a decent amount of time, and it's a nice change. I'm really looking forward to where we go from here.
As am I. All the respect in the world to Cody, but I feel like his babyface shtick is kind of at this point becoming a bit stale.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And I've always been of the opinion that heel Cody is best Cody. So I'm kind of hoping that Cody will go away for a short period and perhaps return as a heel.
Yeah, that would be yeah. I think that will work. I would agree with you. I think it is a little stale, and he's almost been riding the fumes of a couple of years now. And it's slowly just petering out a little bit.
Agreed. So, and piggybacking off of the previous question about all-time favorite match, do you have an all-time favorite promo as a fan?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Um, right now, I couldn't give you any. That said, I want to consume this stuff. People, please send me what you rank as the best promos, and I will consume that media. I will be watching.
Absolutely.
What would you recommend?
I will send you. Well, there's one in particular that I always recommend to young wrestlers who haven't seen this. Um, there was a promo that Mick Foley cut when he was in ECW back in the 90s, and it was a promo that he did in response to something that somebody in the crowd had done. You know, ECW was kind of an extreme place, you know, that they were very groundbreaking for their time in terms of some of the edginess and violence and such. And at the time, Mick Foley's son, Dewey, was probably 6 or 7 at the time. And somebody in the crowd held up a sign that said Cane Dewey, meaning beat the child with a Singapore cane. And he saw this sign and it really bothered him. And the emotion that came through in that promo, where he's thinking about somebody whipping his little boy with a Singapore cane. I mean, it was just a very raw promo. I'll send you a link to it. It's worth seeing because I mean it's very real.
I would, yeah, definitely say from my experience and what I've seen, the stuff that comes from the heart is the stuff that really is good. The top stuff, you know what I mean? When it's genuine and you can tell, you know, there's the layer of showbiz over the top, but it's real. That's when it really hits.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, also moments where the line between work and shoot get blurred. I love that stuff. You know, where you're left wondering, you know, is what I'm seeing, is there at least a kernel of real in this, or you know,
Yeah, 100%.
that's when the magic happens.
Yeah.
So in your opinion, and this is, you know, strictly an opinion question, at this moment, who are the best male and best female wrestlers in the world? Who's the best man and who's the best woman?
So I do have my limited knowledge of what's going on. I've been watching the WWE stuff. I don't know too much else. But I really enjoy always the Drew McIntyre stuff. Like you were saying, I think he always shows up and it's always a good show, no matter who he's opposite. You know, he's very solid. And I also have enjoyed so many Io Sky matches over the last however long as well. I always think that like she's very technically impressive every time. It's fantastic. So I would probably say I say those two right now, but we'll see. I'm opening my eyes so much to so much stuff. So we'll see. Probably in a year I might have a different answer. Who knows?
Gotcha. You know, one thing I'll say about Drew McIntyre, you know, he is one of those people that, you know, back several years ago, getting cut from WWE was the best thing that ever happened to him. Because it basically forced him to go back out there on the indies, find himself, kind of reinvent himself, and basically make himself undeniable. and you know, he, rather than you know, having a pity party and feeling sorry for himself, he got to work and became what he is now. and you've got to respect that. I mean, the guy's work ethic is just insane.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wholeheartedly agree. It's great.
So, looking at the Instagram chat, UK Piper from CCP Podcasting actually makes the suggestion for you to check out the Hard Times promo from Dusty Rhodes if you haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen that one. I will 100% check that out. Yeah.
So, what is your take on the role that social media is playing as a promotional tool in both music and wrestling?
I think it's now essential, to be honest. The way so many people are consuming stuff is they're scrolling through their phones, you know. It's
Yep.
it's addictive, put simply. It's designed to be addictive, it's designed to suck you in. The way the social works is you want to use it, they get money from people to show adverts to you. That's the way they design it. So I think that it's really important nowadays in a band, as a wrestler, that you want to capture people's attention within a few seconds. You know, it's got to be boom, wow, that's amazing, and it's as quick as possible. And you see that, and then you stick around, see what it's about, and if you like what it's about, then you stay. But it's all about that attention span. And I think if you're not on social media, so many people are on social media. The world is on social media, you know, it is viewing everything on social media. So if you're not, I think you're missing out, and you're going to have a hard time, unfortunately, because I know many bands that struggle with having to run on that social media treadmill sometimes, just keeping churning stuff out to keep, you know, people coming in and being interested. But I think that's the nature of where it's at.
Gotcha. You know, somebody else I will recommend to you to check out if you haven't already, and he's actually one of your countrymen, is a wrestler by the name of Will Ospreay. Are you familiar with him?
I've heard the name. Is in AEW?
He's currently signed to AEW. He's actually out right now with an injury. Well, not really an injury. He's out after neck and back surgery. But he is absolutely amazing in the ring. Has done. I mean, you know, his in-ring stuff has been his bread and butter for years. You know, prior to AEW, he had a long run over in New Japan. And, you know, because of the nature of Japanese wrestling, you know, it's very in-ring focused. There isn't as much in the way of promos and such. So he didn't really have the opportunity to show what he could do on the mic until he got to AEW. And the guy is incredible in the ring and on the mic. So he is somebody else that you definitely need to check out. Will Ospreay is just, he's just unreal.
Yeah, I will do. There's a chance, I can't remember. I might have seen him on some short video content stuff, you know, like we were just talking about on the socials.
Right.
I think AEW, definitely, I see a lot of their stuff, and they do a great job of getting in front of you. So yeah, I will do. Thank you for the recommendation.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So, knowing everything that you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Oh, I'd probably say stop trying so hard to make everything be where you think you should be. You feel like you should have achieved certain things, or you should be doing certain things, and just do what you think is the right thing, and the thing that makes you happy, and then see where it takes you, because you can't control what's going to happen in your life. Just follow it along and see where you go, and enjoy it while you're doing it. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. So, you know, over the years that you've been playing music in various bands and such, have you found a particular venue that has been your favorite venue to play in? And if there is a special venue to you, why is it special?
There are a couple, for sure. The first gig we ever played was, or I ever played, was in St Albans, just north of London, and it's called the Horn. And the Horn is a great place for bands that are starting out. They really put an emphasis, I think, on helping new, I was 15, 16, something like that. So like kids even getting up there on stage and getting the experience, getting the chance to play to an audience, I think they're fantastic for that. I live in Milton Keynes now. I really like the Crawford Arms. That is a really cool place. I really like MK11 as well as a local venue there, which is really cool. I would also love to play at that venue I mentioned before, and I never played there, but the Underworld in Camden is a bit of an iconic venue that's sort of like, it's nice and, well, underground. It's literally underground, and it's got lots of underground bands and artists playing there at times as well. And I would love to play there. That would be a cool venue.
Gotcha. So something that we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we've let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. And so my previous guest was a lady by the name of Renee Stubel, and she is the co-founder and co-owner of the House of Champions in Orlando, Florida, which is a very well-regarded wrestling school. And so I told her that you were coming on as the next guest. And the question that she posed for you is, since you have some experience within the music industry, what do you wish that every wrestler knew about the music industry?
Maybe from what I know about wrestling itself is how similar I think the two are. It's all about how you present yourself and the work that you do. There's two parts to it. If you want people to see you in the ring, they got to like how you are up front and what you're showing and what your promotion is. And it's the exact same thing with music. If you've got great music, that's fantastic. But if you want to be playing it to people, you've got to have something cool that they see or they hear a little snippet of, or a story behind it that gets people listening to it. So I think what I would say is actually that it's maybe more similar, incredibly similar to what they might already be familiar with.
Right. Well, it was, I mentioned that I had Max Danziger from Set It Off on the show previously, and we got into an interesting conversation, about sort of the I guess the endless circle. Has being a wrestler made you a better musician, and has being a musician made you a better wrestler? So, and that was interesting because, it's all performance art, and so and a lot of what happens in the ring and on the stage really does go hand in hand. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, it was definitely an interesting conversation to have.
I think so. There's definitely a case of once the show is going, the show must go on, right? No matter what. And there is the exact same thing across both. If you're playing a show and your guitar amp stops working, well, we're going to figure something out. We're going to grab the old whatever from the back room, slap it on the stage. You're going to keep playing as if nothing's happening, and that's the same thing. Whatever happens, the show must go on, and the show does not crack. The audience, We do not let on to them that something's going on. We keep the very best show going that we possibly can for those people that have come into the building that want to watch, that have given their time and their money to buy a ticket to come and see something. Well, respect to you guys. We're going to show up and give you the very best that we can.
Gotcha. Actually, UK Piper over in the Instagram chat just mentioned. He said he just heard you're from Milton Keynes,
I
and
am.
he says there is a company called Apex Pro, a wrestling company that is based there. Are you familiar with them at all?
Okay, so I have heard of Apex Pro. Yes. I believe I'm following them on Instagram. So I think what I'm going to do is I want to get along to one of their events soon and see what the deal is too, because I've not been. I want to check it out. So yeah, if anyone from Apex Pro is kicking around, feel free to send me a message, because I would love to come along and get to know people and all that kind of stuff. I think they've done shows at the MK11 venue before, and I literally live like 10-15 minutes away. So yeah, I'd love to come down.
Nice. So we're getting toward the end of things now. So you mentioned that you guys do have your debut gig coming up. Tell us a bit about that, and aside from that, is there anything else that you want to give some hype to?
Okay, so first off, the gig, we are playing on February 28th, before Elimination Chamber. That will be on afterwards. We are playing our very first gig, which is at a venue called the Slaughtered Lamb in London. So if anyone wants to come down and see us, we've got the ticket link and whatever else on our social media, and we would absolutely love to see you there. And we're really excited to be playing some themes for everyone. We are also, one other thing, I've not actually put anything else out about this at the moment, but we're doing some recorded versions of some of the themes, just kind of our own takes on them. So we have done a recording of Downstate Kingdom, the Cody Rhodes theme, which is this close to being done now, and we're going to be putting that out very, very shortly. So keep your ears peeled for that one, and feel free to let us know what you think when you hear it.
Very nice. I have actually been working on trying to get one or more members of Downstate on the show, because they have done a number of themes for people over the years. I haven't had a lot of success getting in touch with them as of yet, but I'm hopeful.
Yeah, that would be epic. Yeah, writing the themes for people would be so fantastic. Again, that's something that I would love to do. Like, write a walkout theme, and it's our music playing and the hype is there. That would be phenomenal. Do it live. Get up there and play
sure.
someone in. Whoa, that would be an experience.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, as far as what we've got coming up on the Throwdown, this coming Friday, January 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern, we've got episode 190, and our guest is a guy who he's a pro wrestler. He's also a musician and a content creator, and a new part of CCP podcasting with my friend Chris Page, Mr. Dallas Dash. And then next Saturday, the 17th at 12 p.m. Eastern, we've got episode 191, and this episode actually sees the return to the Throwdown of previous guest and friend of the show, a Ukrainian wrestler who is presently residing in Spain, Mr. Jake Kobe. We had a really good time when he was on last year, and he's had a lot going on in his wrestling career this last year, so it's going to be good to have him back on and catch up a bit. But so like I said, we're pretty much at the end of things at this point. So before we wrap all of this up, do you have any final words or any tangents you want to go off on, or anything else you want to say?
I think I would say thank you, for having me on It's been fantastic to just talk music, talk wrestling. Fantastic. Thank you to everyone who's been watching and sent me some recommendations and things to think about. I am a rookie wrestling fan. I'm so new, so like I'm so excited to get involved with things and sort of get just watch and learn and enjoy. So yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. This has truly been a pleasure, and you can consider yourself part of the Throwdown family now. And as things progress, I definitely want to stay in touch. And as SuperSlam gets its feet further under it, I'd love to have you back on, and maybe some of your bandmates, and definitely just talk some more, catch up, all that good stuff.
Fantastic.
So anyway, for those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be seeing this on replays and such, thank you for that. If you like what we've got going here, definitely do the old like, comment, share, and subscribe. And until Friday the 16th at 7 p.m. with Dallas Dash, be good to each other, love each other, and let's keep throwing.